So in comics, they have this one saying, "When in doubt, black it out," because usually whenever you're trying to get a point across and you don't really have enough time, or you just feel like it's gonna get too busy, or you don't feel like you can get all of it in one go, or like I said, you just feel lazy, you could always just kind of ink out like all the details of it, or even with like say with characters, like the idea around here is that they're supposed to be in shadows and everything, so I don't bother like drawing like faces. Just draw like a basic shape and then the outlines and everything, but still kind of get some kind of expressions to it. You know, usually with something like this that I'm just trying to get across a mood. So it's like, you know, with something like this, because I have stuff kind of planned out. Like I know that there's supposed to be, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's supposed to be like a shadow around them. No particular reason or logic, just kind of portray like a mood, an atmosphere, or whatever. And so before I even put any kind of ink to it, I usually just pencil it out, and then I always have, like these little X's around here just so I can. That's to help That's to help me to know what's going to be darkened before I even get started. So. But yeah, that's the, and usually I would get like a more finer pen and do the outlines first, but sometimes it's just really fun to, you know, get like a really fat Sharpie and just kind of color this in or whatever. And I can worry about, you know, refining it a little after I'm done with this. And that's another thing, when it comes to like professional artists, they'll usually have, actually, hang on. They'll usually have like, when I say ink, they'll usually use like actual ink or whatever, so that, and they'll have like a paintbrush to fix it up. That gets a little too messy for me. Sometimes I just really like to get, you know, just like regular Sharpies. Sometimes I like getting like these fat ones here, because it's just more fun for me to just take one and just kind of like scribble into like, you know, on these white backgrounds. And here's some other examples of what I mean. Like the idea here is that it's supposed to be sort of a rundown building, so it's like, but I didn't bother, you know, drawing like all the decrepit. I did a little bit with like chipped, you know, stuff, cobwebs, you know, everything's all torn up and all, you know, gross looking, but for the most part it's mostly just kind of kept into the shadows of everything. Even like this little bell and this doorway is just all blacked out, because I just didn't really feel the need to really show them much. I feel like it got point across, and honestly it just kind of looks cooler that way. And again, you know, back to having like, you know, characters and shadows. And sometimes like here you don't even see like the entire building or the entire room. It's just mostly full black or whatever. Like here you get a desk, you get a chair, get like this big newspaper up front or whatever, and that's it. Like there's no more details. You get like these newspapers, and you get like a little bit of detail on the walls right here, but that's really it. But yeah, I guess the idea is that, and just to give you but one last thing, I guess, before I sign off, just show you a little bit more. See, is that I draw pretty much the character, you know, beforehand, because I know what he's gonna look like, and either, like I say, I, you know, draw like a little, with the pencil I draw like either a little X or just kind of like shade it in just a little bit to get the point. Like here, I didn't even bother, you know, worrying about outlining it first, because I knew most of his, you know, body is going to be darkened down. But that's another good idea. It's like, don't really just go all, you know, all ham on, you know, the inking, unless you actually know what it is you're going to be, you know, inking it out. Because I don't know, it's kind of like the penciling is like construction, like you're building up the frame, the form and everything. But then when you get to the inking, that's when you can actually, that's when it comes to life. I think it was Will Eisner, the creator of the Spirit, once said it's like inking is, in a strange way, inking is sexy, because again, you're penciling, it's you're building up the form, but inking, you're feeling it. You're actually feeling the texture. You're feeling it, you know, everything coming across. So yeah, and that's about it. So yeah.